Indian came, they saw, and they conquered. They didn't hold back, they gave everyone everything they wanted. Rider modes, cruise control, keyless ignition, greater range and comfort, it's all there. Let's break this monumental new 2025 Scout release down, and at the end, I'll tell you which two models I most have my eye on. There's just so much to unpack from this incredible launch, but what were the standouts for me? Well, one of the big ones was when designing this 2025 model Scout, Indian took feedback from customizers, customers, designers, and dealers. And when we look at what they're presenting here, we can really see they took that on board. We have a new, more powerful 1250cc engine producing 111 horsepower and 82 foot-pound of torque. That gives the new 2025 Scout a 14% power increase right throughout the rev range. Brilliant to see was the new ride command on some models. The new Scout now has a larger fuel tank and greater range. It's also been fitted with a fuel gauge. A lot of guys will love that. It has an all-new frame. Now the frame takes a lot of styling cues from the Indian Chief, especially the neck design and the way the frame swoops down and underneath the actual engine. And the backbone of the frame actually comes down over the engine and in line with the rear shocks, much like the Indian Chief. The new Scout has cleaner wiring and, importantly, a new rear subframe. Now what this means is that all the seats, all the accessories of all the models are all interchangeable. On the previous Scout you had certain models where you'd have a set of seats, say for instance, for the standard Scout that wouldn't fit on the Scout Bobber and vice versa. So now what Indian have done is unified the whole model range so that every component is interchangeable. So if you preferred the Scout Bobber but you wanted some of the features of the Scout Classic, you could buy those as optional accessories and fit them to the Scout Bobber. Cruise control is now available, as is keyless ignition, and really nice to see is that the cruise control is fitted on the left-hand grip. On the Chief it's on the right-hand grip. Now I'd prefer the left-hand grip, but if it meant that it had no cruise control at all, then the right-hand grip is fine for me. But seeing it on the left-hand grip is really nice to see on the Scout. Now the Scout comes in 3 trim levels if you like. You've got standard, which has LED lighting, keyed ignition, ABS and an analog display, so you can have the analog display if you don't like the LCD display. The next model up is the Limited, which has cruise control, ride modes, traction control. The Chief doesn't have traction control as far as I know, and the Limited also comes with USB charging. And then there's a third trim level, Limited Plus Tech, and that gives you the digital round display, keyless ignition and connected rider. So I'd say that's USB connectivity with the rider if you have a headset fitted to your helmet. Now it looks like they've made the entire Scout range more comfortable. They've upgraded the suspension across the range. Some of the models have 3-inch rear travel, but it looks like the Scout Bobber, they haven't quoted. Actually, let's have a look online and see if the specs are available online for the Scout Bobber. Yeah, just looking online, the Scout Bobber only has 2 inches of travel. So I see a few of the models have 3 inches of travel, but the Scout Bobber still only has 2 inches. But they do say it's more compliant than the previous model, so we'll see how that plays out over time, and the only real way to test is a test ride. Now while I'm here, I might just have a quick look at pricing. Now looking online here in Australia, it doesn't seem that there's pricing online. I wonder if it's priced online in the US. So the new Scout lineup, the Scout Bobber starts at $12,999 US. The 101 Scout is $16,999 US. The Super Scout is $16,499 US. The Sport Scout is $13,499 US. And the Scout Classic is $13,999. So the cheapest Scout is the Scout Bobber, and the most expensive Scout, as you'd expect, is the 101 Scout. Now, while we're on the 101 Scout, it really is the top spec Scout in my eyes, having the upside-down forks, twin Brembo front brakes, piggyback reservoir rear shocks. Spec-wise, the 101 Scout does seem to be the pick. Now, in the launch video, when it comes to comfort and ergonomics, I did say across the range there is 30 different ergonomic combinations. And I know from the previous Scout, you really could configure it so it was comfortable for taller riders and comfortable for shorter riders, and it looks like they've continued that ethos across the entire new 2025 Scout range. So I'm predicting these bikes are going to be very comfortable for a wide range of riders. Now, when I first saw the new engine on the new Scout, I was a bit concerned. I thought, oh, they've changed it a lot from the previous model Scout, and I wasn't sure at what I was seeing whether I liked it or not. But as I'm looking at the bike more and more and more, that new engine design is really growing on me, and I do really like it in the blacked out version as well as the chrome accented version. It looks really good with the chrome pipes on the chrome accented version, and it looks great in the blacked out trim as well. Another thing I really like is the 2-in-1 exhaust system. Getting an aftermarket muffler for this bike's going to be good because it's only one slip-on you have to buy, so that should be cheaper than having to buy two slip-ons. I like the fact that you have the option of a fairing, or you can buy screens, accessory screens for it to make it more comfortable on longer trips for the naked versions. And overall, across each model, I'm really impressed at what I'm seeing. Now, how is this going to affect the Indian Chief? Well, this is something that I'm really pleased that Indian have done here. They could have held back the features on the Scout to make it not as attractive as the Chief, if you like, but they didn't. And that really impresses me, and I have to give Indian props here because they threw everything at this new model Scout to the point where this becomes equally as attractive as the Indian Chief. So rather than release a model which is almost as good as the Chief, they've actually probably leapfrogged it a little bit with this Indian Scout, and I don't mind that because, you know, they've really made the Scout a lot better, perhaps, you know, in places equal to or even perhaps a little bit better than the Chief. But then that means the next release of the Chief has to be better than this Scout. So I'm really pleased to see that because it's really pushing forward the brand, the quality of the motorcycles, and the features that you're getting on these bikes. Now, at the start of the video, I said I'd say which two models most had my eye. And for me, it's the 101 Scout, but I'm also really interested in the Super Scout. They're the two bikes that I'd really like to test ride. I really want to see what the 101 Scout's like to ride, and I really want to see what the Super Scout's like to ride, and I hope I get a chance to ride both those motorcycles. Which one would I buy? Well, I wouldn't sell my Chief to buy one of these bikes. I still prefer my Chief, but if I could have a second bike, it would come down to either the 101 or the Super Scout, and I'd probably say the Super Scout's probably more in my wheelhouse as a companion to my Indian Chief. I think it'd be a good lightweight touring bike. Just on lightweight, how much do these bikes weigh? Okay, so the figure they're quoting here is 252 kilograms in Australia for the Scout Classic. Let's look at the Super Scout. Yeah, so the Super Scout weighs 268 kilograms here in Australia. In the US, that comes in at 589 pounds. Now, I'd say that'd probably be the heaviest of all the Scouts, so expect to see the other models being lighter in weight than the Super Scout. Alright, that's it for this video. Overall, I'm really impressed with what I've seen here and very excited for the future of Indian with the new Scouts. I really think they've done a fantastic job. They've ticked all the boxes of what everyone wanted in this new model, and I think the bike looks great. I love the new engine design. I think all round, I think it's a winner. So congratulations, Indian. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you've made it this far, as always, thank you for your continued support, and until next video, bye for now.